Welcome to a phenomenal edition of Rebellion's educational series. We're joined by one of the smartest cybersecurity minds I've come across, Will Lin, who's really just brilliant understanding of the landscape and what's going on, where is it going, what's the future. He has written a best-selling book on venture capital. Will, thank you so much for coming on. Please tell us all about this book.
Oh, thanks, Alex. Really kind of you. Yeah. The VC Field Guide. It's a book I wrote out of gratitude and love for this industry of venture capital. I got the opportunity to join the venture capital space very early in my career, and got the opportunity to grow in it for over a decade, and saw a lot of friends also join the industry as well at the same time, and some that did really well, some that didn't make it. And it just really sort of catalyzed, in my opinion, the need for more knowledge sharing within the industry. And so I wrote this book to start to try to help.
Now, is this book for California venture capitalists, or could anyone from Sudan to Southampton, UK, use this thing?
Great question. Yeah. I wrote the book as a fundamentals book. So the intent is anyone who's working in entrepreneurship or with entrepreneurs would benefit from the book. I leverage a framework that we're all very familiar with, the who, what, when, where, why, and how framework, to sort of help explain how do VCs think about the world. And you can use that as a way to invest anything. For instance, a college student joining a startup out of college, you're investing your career into these companies. And so you need to be able to think like an investor, think like a VC. And the book is meant to help people in that way.
How has your thinking evolved over the last 5 years?
It has gone from, oh, these are really important lessons. I need to remember this lesson. I need to remember that lesson, this kind of thing, right? Like I see the cause and effect. I learn a lesson from my mentors, that kind of dynamic, to finally having a frameworked approach to it, to having sort of a systematic way of thinking about the world. And this book is meant to sort of share that systematic way of thinking about the world as well, in a way that makes it feel that you're doing all your homework, right? Like there's six mega questions to ask.
Well, let me stop you.
Yeah.
Does cybersecurity venture capital differ from other venture capital?
It does, in specifically around the thesis generation component and the network generation component. So on the venture side, especially if you're early stage, it's really great to be building your own theses and then making investments that you believe in, that check all the other boxes as well. But there are a ton of boxes that are the same regardless of the industry. Like for instance, the team, for instance, the size of the market that they're going after, for instance, product market fit, that's as well.
While we're on cybersecurity, may I ask, are you worried about AI right now? The big conversation, Geoffrey Hinton resigned from Google, this week over his worries on AI. Do you have worries about AI regarding cybersecurity?
Right now, I'm in the optimistic camp, which is more around this is a tool that everyone will have to learn how to use and will benefit from it, just like using email or word processors, that kind of dynamic. So I'm still in the optimistic camp. I'm not yet in the worried about AI, disrupting the way that we live in a harmful way.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Well, what do you see as the future of cybersecurity? Is there a kind of a technology or an area that you're very excited about?
Yeah, there's a lot. I think the big thing that's happening right now in the industry, timing wise, is there's a lot of focus around consolidation, a lot of focus on efficiency as well. And so I think the opportunity right now is to work towards being disrupting an existing category, whether it is endpoint or firewalls or identity or data. So I think that's the opportunity to create the next platform company in one of the mega categories in security. And some of the best companies are created in a recessionary, disruptive environment like we're in today.
Oh, definitely. No, many say this is prime time, like 2008 was, to find the new disruptive technologies of tomorrow. And, we had kind of a technological shift when we went to, the next G, 4G, 5G, whatnot. As we shift, G's again, how do you think that will affect cybersecurity?
Yeah, yeah. I think the part that's still barely hanging on is sort of is the network centric approach to securing things. It is There are certain sectors of the network security that are sort of decreasing year over year in terms of budget. As we move towards this next G, for example,
Yep.
we're gonna just have to think about security. We're gonna have to completely get rid of the idea of network security at some point.
So
Um,
I read about the world's first carbon neutral cloud center in Wyoming. For instance, will that cloud center need its own cybersecurity protocol separate of the firms it works with?
um, I'm actually not familiar with that cloud center. It sounds pretty on my end.
I guess, do you think that we'll need greater layers of cybersecurity as time goes on?
Yes. I think there are sort of a couple of different mindsets, right? One is the defense in depth mindset, right?
Hmm.
More layers to protect things. Um, right now, I think the industry is really spending a lot of time exploring the idea of zero trust instead. So instead of putting an additional layer, what about reducing the amount of trust or reducing the amount of access each of the individuals have? And so that way it's more focused on sort of fixing the foundation than building a taller skyscraper kind of mindset as well.
Gotcha. Well, where do you feel the United States is in regards to cybersecurity? Are we leading? Are we not leading? How hackable are we from Russia and North Korea right now and China?
I think we're doing pretty well. I mean, one of the great sort of there's obviously a lot of news about the bad things that have happened,
Yep.
but we can also realize that there are a lot of good things that haven't happened, for instance. So for instance, or good things that have happened because the bad thing hasn't didn't get through. So for instance, when we think about something that was really critically important to all of us during COVID, right, is the all the research and R&D around the vaccines. None of that data was leaked or stolen, right? The IP, which is the leading edge, if someone wanted to disrupt our economy, a nation, all they had to do was figure out how to mess up the vaccine development and distribution.
That's a
And
brilliant point, actually. I never even thought about that.
and it all went, everyone that was involved in that process knew and were actively getting attacked, but we were able to pull that off.
Wow. That's amazing. Now, I know you're a big part of the San Francisco VC community. How do you feel about San Francisco specifically? It's been in the news a lot of vacant buildings, and what's your prognosis for San Francisco and the VC community there?
Yeah. I think it's fun to talk about this, especially because First Republic just got acquired by JPMC as well. And First Republic was our bank, for example, on the personal side.
Yep.
I think the technology, there's no question, has taken the biggest hit so far in terms of the economy. And San Francisco, the Bay Area, is the hub of technology as well. And so
Yep.
as a result, there's no surprise that the city itself is more vacant, for example. But I think when I'm local, I live in the city, we go out a lot because we love enjoying the city that it is. And so we can sort of ride the ups and the downs of the city as well. And
Are you
as
an
a
office guy or are you anti-office?
I like the office because I like the sort of being with coworkers and being with
Yep.
my team kind of dynamic, but not for the sake of just being in the office.
Yeah,
It's more
no, I agree. I think it's important. I go to the office 5 days a week.
yeah.
I'm very negative on work from home. I just find the efficiency drops between 30 and 75%, frankly. And so it's just, it's one thing if you're going to contract for a bit of software code, and you're paying for the product. And so when it comes, it comes. But when you're paying someone on a per DM basis, it gets tough with work from home, at least from my standpoint. So let's finish off with your book. Do you have a copy of it to show our viewers?
Yeah, I have. This is my only copy actually, because we had RSA last week, and it ended up everyone wanted a copy, which was really nice and kind. The book is actually available right now. The Amazon just got their stock, so yeah.
I've been following you for about 5 years, and I would recommend this book really to anyone from a partner at Sequoia to just a wealthy banker or doctor in Wyoming, going back to that small or huge state with small population. Your insights that I've seen the last 5 years, really have taught me a lot, and I know I'm super excited to have made acquaintance with you. So this book looks absolutely fantastic, and hopefully it lands on everyone's shelves by this Christmas.
Well, very, very kind words, Alex.
Oh, no, not kind. Just very, very truthful and blunt. You're a pleasure, and it was an honor to have you on today, Will.
All righty. Have a good rest of your day.
Oh, you too, and we'll talk soon.
Talk soon.